So this week we're talking about The Last of Us for PlayStation 3. So yeah, super highly anticipated. A whole bunch of perfect scores from a bunch of places. So let's get right to it. Let's get our scores up there and see what we've got.
All right, who's going first?
Put up my score first. All right, so there we go. I gave graphics a 9, gameplay a 9.5, sound an 8.5, and 9.5 overall. And again, you could see these scores up here, and they might not add up to, each individual thing might not add up to the overall score, but I feel that you can have a game that might be more than the sum of its parts or less. We've yet to have a game, because we've only had a couple episodes so far, but we've yet to have a game that's actually less than the sum of its parts. But I do anticipate that will happen eventually. So Here's my scores. Go to the next one.
10
Chris again.
Yep. Jeff throwing out the perfect score.
No,
wow.
I said this before. I'll keep this short, but I don't think it's the perfect game. But I think it's pretty much the pinnacle or one of the pinnacle games on PS3. So I think it deserves that.
Okay.
All right. So
next.
Graphics, I gave it a 9. Gameplay, an 8. Sound, 7. And overall, I gave the game a 9.
Really? Sound a 7? What didn't you like about the sound?
Well, if you want to get into that now, pretty much
we can wait and get into it, but I'm curious.
Yeah, hold that thought.
Who's up next here?
It's Nick.
Nick,
Yeah.
Almost a perfect score.
Yeah. I gave graphics a 10, gameplay a 9.5, and sound a 9. And overall, I gave it a 9.8.
All
Best game on the PS3.
All right.
Okay. Let's start off with the graphics then.
We're gonna skip Tomb here.
Yeah, you can just
Nope.
skip.
Skip Tom B.
Well, here we go. Yeah, another perfect
here-
score, of course.
Here we go.
Right?
Tom B. Yeah, another perfect score. I'll talk. I mean, I'm gonna go into it more so in a little bit, but
Sure.
I mean, it's definitely the game of this generation for PS3. It was awesome. So, very, very, very excellent experience.
Okay. Well, let's go down the line then. Let's start off with the graphics. I'll say since this is a Naughty Dog game, the graphics look a lot like Uncharted 2 or 3. So, of course, those are when people talk about those games, usually the graphics, have a certain amount of acclaim. So it's going to look good. You know that going in. Personally, I had a couple issues with slowdowns and some frame rate drops and stuff, but nothing major. So overall, I thought the graphics were actually very, very good. Everything is highly detailed, and overall the graphics are excellent. Do you guys agree?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously with the 10. Like I said, best. I think it's. I mean, every category I will say this again is either the best on the system or one of the best. I thought the graphics looked awesome, had cool art design, really fit the setting. Like when you're walking through, whether it's like the corroded cities or like the more like nature type areas, like through the woods, it's just lots of foliage, like the cool lighting effects. Even you get like the little like animals like flying by or running by, like little details like that. I really enjoyed. I didn't have any problems with the graphics at all. I think everything looked really good, really crisp.
Yeah, to touch on the graphics, I thought even the character models were done really well, especially Ellie's. Her facial expressions and her character model in general is just excellent. It's probably one of the best character models I've seen in a video game.
Yeah, Joel was done really well too. Like a lot of very subtle nuances to his face.
Yeah, he
Like
was. I just thought Ellie's, compared to the two, I just thought Ellie's just looked a lot better. Not a lot better, but just better.
I thought all the character models looked awesome. They all showed some like cool emotion with the facial expressions. They didn't have like that dead like computerized look. So
Right.
Yeah, they didn't look like creepy mannequins.
I mean, the cutscenes they shined. I mean, during gameplay, I felt like the facial expressions weren't exactly as crisp. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, obviously.
But I felt like it looked good. Especially still looked good on the gameplay. But you're not exactly facing the camera right on someone's face in the gameplay either. So I guess through the use of like camera tricks and stuff, you're not. Unless you specifically stop the game, swing the camera around, and stare at it for a bit, I didn't think it really detracted at all.
Sometimes I do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when I played, I definitely had a lot of moments where I fell out of the world and just fell into a pit of openness and that happened to me.
Did you
several
really?
times.
To like
Let me-
graphical
Oh,
glitches
yeah.
and stuff?
Let me bring
I got a
that
lot
up
of that.
too.
Really? Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
So smooth
Okay,
throughout.
I
didn't
want to
have
bring
any
that
of
up
these
actually.
problems.
I got the game installed it, and right away there's a patch 1.01. That was just regular update, and there was a save game glitch. I played for an hour at first, and then my game didn't save at all. I had to restart. It was only an hour, big deal, and it was fun. After they fixed it, then there were some graphical glitches just at the beginning where like the world was just like disappeared. One cutscene actually froze. It's already been fixed, so they were really quick about fixing it. I didn't notice anything after like that first like hour or so of playing, and everything else was smooth. I don't want to detract it from my score because it was a pain for the first few minutes, but it was only the beginning, and they've already smoothed out everything. I've had no problems since, so they were pretty quick about fixing everything.
I mean, I got the game not on launch, so I got the game after that patch was released, and that did happen to me a few times. Not enough for me to hate on the game at all, but it definitely did kind of was like it sucks when that happens. Like when you're playing a game, you're getting into the story, you're like, oh, I'm progressing, and then there's nothing I can do. I have to die now, and it's even hard to die.
Yeah, I had a few issues graphically as well. Just like I don't know if you guys ever had this, but I had the game. I'm sure you guys mentioned it before too. I had the game freeze a bunch of times as well. But like Jeff said, it's not enough to take me away from the total score. But I did have some freezing issues as well with the game.
Yeah, but overall the game did look really good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. Now there were a lot of people that reported the autosave bug, and somehow I managed to avoid all that stuff. I didn't have any falling through the world or graphic glitches, or like I said, there were a couple spots where there was a lot of stuff going on and things were really busy, so the frame rate dropped. But I didn't get nailed by the autosave glitch, and I didn't see any of that other stuff. So that's strange.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they squashed it pretty quick. So I think it was only around for like the first day or so. There might be a few lingering things here and there, but I felt like they were pretty good with fixing it up with some just some like quick patches, like nothing major.
Right. But so overall, everybody was happy with the way the game looked.
Yeah, it looks great. Very very immersive.
Okay, so if there's nothing more on graphics, let's move on to the sound. Now, the sound, I'll note the music. I mean, I thought the music was well done. It does fit the tone of the game, but for whatever reason, I just didn't care for it that much. To me, nothing really stood out in the soundtrack, and it's possible that that's what they were going for. With the acoustic folk sounding stuff. But to me, it was sort of forgettable. So I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it fit really well. A lot of the sounds you're getting like a very eerie feel to the whole game, which like I said, it was just really fitting, and I really enjoyed it.
All right, yeah. Let me jump on that too. I felt like it was like not a big booming soundtrack, which I felt was good for this game because
it was subtle,
eerie and low. Yeah, there was subtlety. What I heard sounded good for music, but sound effects were awesome. I felt like the gunshots and everything sounded good, and I thought the voice acting was phenomenal in this game. Like I was
it was
really
top notch. Yeah.
So not something. It's not like a soundtrack where I'm going to be like listening to all the time. Like jamming my head to it like it's like Mega Man 2 or something. But I thought like the music fit the purpose of the game. Sound effects are great, and in the end, that like some of the best voice acting I've heard too. Like I said, it was really powerful, really emotional.
Yeah, I mean the opening, even just like the start screen, I feel like really like sets the mood for the game, and like the music, I wouldn't say is anything memorable, but it does work well with the game. But my one gripe was. When you're playing, like there's times in the game when you really have to be stealthy, and then you're trying to sneak up on somebody, and the character you're with just like starts talking to you, and they're talking like loud and shouting, but it doesn't attract the attention of the enemy, and I feel like that kind of takes away from the game a little bit because I'm like so concentrated on not getting caught, and then they talk, and
I've heard a lot of people bring that up.
Yeah.
For me, and I guess this kind of goes into gameplay too. For me, it didn't take away too much because I know it's supposed to be. I mean, it's post-apocalyptic. Like
every game ever has that. I don't think I've ever seen a game where they've like, okay, sneak around, and all the other characters are like, shut up now, I'm trying to sneak. Don't say anything.
There's some rules that allow like to bend. Like like the whole like stealth thing too that you brought up, like the fact that the characters do kind of hide, but like
Yeah, they don't hide very well. Like, there's been times where I was hiding, and then like an enemy or like my party members were right next to an enemy, and they didn't see them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they could be running around right out in the open, and
And,
they,
like,
as long as they don't spot you,
Yeah,
right?
like in the
I
game's
mean,
awesome.
yeah,
Like, it's a
you
great
gotta-
game,
you gotta
but like,
suspend a
little
little
stuff like that
disbelief.
does kind of take you out. Like, it doesn't immerse you as well as it would if that was not there.
Okay.
I'll agree with that, and I guess we're kind of getting into gameplay here, but I understand where it could kind of break the immersion. It didn't bother me too much, but I'd rather have them not be something that alerts the guard instead of having it with you have to make sure your AI guys hide as well, because let's face it, like you can have the best AI, but like pathfinding in any game is never perfect, and I would hate to get like a ton of game over screens or death scenes just because the stupid AI decided to run across the hallway when there was like a a swarm of like clickers like walking down.
Yeah.
So I'd rather that be solely focused on what I'm doing and not what my AI companions are doing there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so yeah. Anything else on sound? I mean, the sound effects were all very, very good. I thought it was, you can really tell, like when you're slamming a dude's face down into the environment,
Yeah,
or you're
the
using
melee combat
the
is
melee
just
weapons.
nuts. Yeah.
You're slicing stuff, and
When
the sound
you're,
effects are well
when
done.
you sneak up and you're gonna strangle an enemy, there's something really not like with Uncharted, it's kind of like it has like this really fun vibe about it, or this is just not. It's eerie.
Yeah, it's like
the
dirty.
whole game itself is just like it's really dark.
Yeah, it's gritty.
It's the end of
Yes.
the world, pretty much.
But yeah, I mean that's supposed to be the world that they're living in. So I mean it's all very appropriate.
Yeah.
And it fit the tone of the game very well.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, and like everybody touched on before, I mean this kind of shows you the difference between like getting like just like a generic voice actor and getting like real voice actors to do the reading here. And it was written very well. It's Troy Baker and Ashley, whatever her name is,
Johnson.
Ashley. I forget her name, but they did a fantastic job with the read
Ashley
through.
does an amazing job with Ellie's voice. That actually stood out. Troy Baker, I mean, Troy's in everything. You can tell he's not, I mean, and I'm sure he does this with all of his roles. He's not speaking with his natural speaking voice, but
Right,
if
yeah.
I may have been able to tell a little bit, but if I hadn't seen from the credits or known beforehand that it wasn't Troy, I wouldn't have known right away, as opposed to like Booker in BioShock and versus Snow in Final Fantasy. You can definitely hear the similarities there. With this one, he's doing something distinctive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He said. I mean, he did a phenomenal job. So I mean, hats off to him.
Yeah.
All right, so high scores all around on the sound. Let's move on to gameplay then. Now, so as we mentioned, since this is a Naughty Dog game, it looks similar to Uncharted, so it plays similar as well, minus the platforming and a higher emphasis on stealth. So I played it on hard, and I felt that the enemies, especially the clickers, were challenging, but none of the enemies in the game are necessarily cheap.
No, I mean it's anytime you die, it's pretty much your fault. I didn't play it on hard yet. I played it on normal. I'm probably gonna just skip hard and go to Survivor next. But I felt like the gameplay was solid. I can see the Uncharted comparison, but I think a lot of it's a bias because it's coming from Naughty Dog, and I guess the graphics, while different, have that similar like look. Obviously, like a grittier tone, but I felt like there's definitely more of an emphasis on stealth, and and in the shootouts, you weren't having as many shootouts. I mean, they were there obviously, but
Well, the thing is with the shootouts, it's like you have to like shoot out and run away and hide. Like
Well, there's different ways to play. You can play the whole game stealthy. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's anything that you have to fight.
no, you can sneak through
So
everything.
you can,
pretty
yeah.
much.
So, I mean,
It's-
that is cool.
it's
I mean,
difficult, but
going
yeah.
to gameplay, I mean, there's a lot of replayability because, like, I mean, when I played, I just was aggressive the whole way through, and the game's really fun that way. But I can see the appeal of playing, stealthy. But
Yeah, I definitely tried to stealth a lot, but there's a few parts where, and this is
Yeah.
where it comes back where I thought the sound and graphics really dragged me. I got very emotionally involved at certain scenes in the game where I was like, screw it, I'm not being stealthy, and I just grabbed the biggest weapon. I just like mowed through
Oh,
people,
yeah.
and I was just like,
Like,
you're
playing
getting
aggressive in that game is really fun.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, and you can do that. You have
Yeah.
the option. You can either ghost the guys, or you can run in and just light everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, certain depending on the part of the game you're in, trying to like Rambo your way through might be harder than other parts, and then some parts are definitely better for stealth, but you definitely have your options of how you like take each part down, which is cool.
Yeah, equally as satisfying either way through. But I will say my first time through, kind of like luring everybody in with a brick and then lighting them up with a Molotov cocktail and then blowing them away.
Yeah.
It's definitely very, very satisfying.
My favorite
like using
combo
the
is
shiv.
the shiv's
shiv.
cool. I like actually when they're walking down the hallway to jump out of the hallway, hit them in the face with a brick, and while they're bent over, just run with a pipe and just like golf swing to their head. I thought that was
the pipe
satisfying
is
crunch.
good when you bind the shiv to it because then you can use it a whole bunch of times. And usually you can take out a clicker with one hit if you have the upgraded pipe. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, weapon upgrades and all that stuff, that's all fun. There's upgrades just for your character with, like, medication and stuff. You can, improve your stats. So, I mean, there's stat building and all that, and that's pretty cool. So...
Yeah, I like it. I always like the stat building in a game, especially if it doesn't feel like tacked on. It felt like it really served its purpose, especially with grabbing, like, the parts, like the weapon parts, and using that to, like, modify your weapons. And they actually carry that over to the multiplayer, too. Which I thought was really cool because that made that portion of the game stand out. So all around pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then there's just like the item scavenging, like that's kind of fun. Like after you kind of clear out an area, you kind of have like the option to move forward or explore. And I mean, you really shouldn't turn the exploring away because, I mean, like you just find.
Oh yeah, you find tons of stuff.
Way more stuff, but like it's just kind of fun exploring the world. And
I like that the crafting system was not, this like crazy complicated thing. It was like you had a basic set of resources that you could collect, and then certain things overlap. So sometimes you'd have to make a choice: either do I craft this med kit, or do I make another bomb, or do I make something else. But I liked how everything was really simple, and it was easy to make your upgrades or make your melee weapons or whatever. So that was good.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing more on gameplay, then let's round things out with the story and the plot here. Now, I think that Joel is definitely a believable character and has a really good story arc throughout this whole thing. Yeah. And then you've got Ellie, who's an outstanding support character, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts was their interactions. Like as the plot moves along, their relationship grows as well, and it's just it's tremendous.
Yeah, the game gets pretty deep.
Yeah,
like, with the story between there's like very subtle like conversation between them.
And it works really well.
Yeah,
the story's definitely very heavy. I think a funny thing I heard. Actually, I was at home playing. My wife was watching me play, and I was playing the beginning scene. Which, if you played the game, you know how the beginning starts.
Yeah, that's a pretty important piece of the overall.
Yeah, and she's watching me play at the whole ending scene. She just looks at me and goes, "Huh." Not like Mario, huh? Like,
no,
I thought that was funny.
That intro was intense. That was an intense.
Yeah.
Intro.
So, but the story's like they could make that into a movie or like an HBO series, and it would be just as compelling. Like, I want to see what happened next. I really enjoyed the characters. I mean, the side characters were good. It was mainly Joel and Ellie, but I mean they could carry, I think, a movie or a show like that because they're
some
compelling
colorful
enough.
side characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Emphasis on the colorful.
But they're definitely like the main two there, and they're awesome. So.
Yeah. The story, I think, is really what makes the game. I mean, without the story, it's just another third-person shooter. It really does play a lot like Uncharted, and I feel like it does take a lot of elements from Resident Evil. But it's a cool game, but without the story, it's kind of like you kind of expect.
Yeah, you need that hook to be able to see what's coming next and to keep playing.
And the story's spot on.
Yeah.
Like the story really is good, and it's definitely a must play. I mean, we all gave it great scores. So
yeah, I mean, the story definitely carries a lot. I felt like the gameplay was really good too. Now, like I said, I've been also playing the multiplayer a lot, which is just like there's like no story to it, obviously, just like your 4v4 like deathmatch type game, and I feel like that by itself too is also very solid. So that for me helps carry the game from being just like a rental or a borrow to like a buy, because there's more beyond the main campaign on there. And the main campaign, I was like, I mean, that alone was like 18 hours for me. And now I've put in like a bunch more hours just on multiplayer, and I haven't even attempted to do the story mode the second time. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth.
Do you guys think the single player has replay value?
I would
Well,
say
it does
so.
have New Game Plus,
Yeah.
right? So you can keep your skills and stuff. Is there?
I mean-
do you lose your items or because I haven't restarted it?
I actually haven't touched the New Game Plus yet, which I would, but the only problem is when I beat on normal, so now I can only do normal easy.
Oh
New
yeah,
Game
that's
Plus,
right. You
so-
can only do New Game Plus on the same difficulty.
So I
Yep.
want to do Survivor next. If I get through it, then maybe try New Game Plus again. So, but I mean, I felt like the single player, the story, the collecting, and just the combat alone was enjoyable enough. In that 18 hours I played, that it wouldn't be painful to play through it again. I would enjoy a second playthrough.
I mean,
Sure.
plus there's different ways to play too. I mean, so
Yeah.
I mean, there's that.
Okay, so overall, then you guys think this game was worth the hype because right before
yeah.
release, the hype everybody was
hype was
going
huge.
bonkers about it. So worth the hype. Worth the hype, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
although
Yeah,
I'm getting
absolutely.
pretty tired of the whole undead, thing. I don't know. It seems like I'm seeing way too much of it.
All right,
lately.
the whole
I'm getting
undead
tired
thing
of it.
is, but I don't even think they're the main they
No,
cause
I
the
think
problems, but it's all about how humans are bad. I feel like that's the feeling
Yeah.
I get.
Yeah,
from
I
it.
I'm
agree.
just
I
saying,
don't-
the whole undead.
You
Like,
have the
I
infected,
understand
you
the
have,
story.
And they're not
what is
undead,
the
Steve.
clickers there, and that but I feel like you see them less than you do the actual humans.
Right, but
But
But I know what
the
you're saying.
undead is still in the
Yeah.
game, and I'm
They're not.
tired
Yeah,
of
wait,
seeing
wait,
this
wait,
stuff.
Steve. They're not undead. They are infected by a fungus. They're not zombies.
They're undead.
They're
They're
fung-
people that were
fung
alive.
dead.
They're people that were alive that are infected.
they're
I'm-
hypnotized.
and that's the point I'm trying to make. I know they're not zombies, but they are undead.
Yeah,
and I'm tired of it.
All right, well,
They're no. These guys.
I wanna
these guys
see
are,
something
no.
new.
These guys are
the
fungal
zombie thing is
maniacs. They're
played
not
out.
dead.
It's played out.
I enjoy zombies and everything. And I agree, it's a little played out, but I mean, it worked in this setting. It didn't feel forced, and like I said, it wasn't just waves of zombies either. I felt like, especially towards the later half of the game, there was a lot more emphasis on the bad humans out there and how maybe the world's not worth saving because, look how we've turned out. That's what I got out of it. So they were just the
It's a
spark that lit the fuse, or however you want to put that.
It's a human story. It's a human story with fungal guys in it.
Yeah. Human story with mushrooms, fungus.
Yeah.
It's like the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, more or less.
Yeah.
All right. So on this one, then obviously we're saying must play at the very least. Probably a buy if you factor,
you own-
definitely
if you
a
factor
buy.
in the
Yeah, I would
multiplayer.
definitely buy
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Definitely.
If you own a PlayStation 3 and don't play this, then there's something wrong with you.
I also think that's the PS3 is so close to the end, and such a great game has come out, and I know we still have Beyond Two Souls, but I think this is so far the game of the year.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see Beyond as well. But yeah, this and we kind of knew last week this is how it was going to play out. This and BioShock, we'll probably be up for Game of the Year for sure. I think.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think it's a pretty safe bet.
Okay, so there you have it. There's The Last of Us. High scores from all of us. Definitely check it out.